How you doing this morning, Jim?
Doing good, how y'all?
Hey, you're running on mic time, just sliding in.
Dave got one of the little pickups. We'll get started when Doug gets in. Andrew, y'all had a pretty uneventful weekend.
Yeah, for the most part, I think so.
That's good.
The early voting went good. That's my biggest concern. You didn't get any new customers? What's that? You didn't get any new customers over the weekend? That's good, that means we ain't gotta pay the fee. I'm sure it probably was, I haven't seen that yet.
All right, we got everything on, Zach, on the camera. All right, we'll go ahead and call the meeting to order. We want to welcome everyone to the November 4th meeting. As we do at each meeting, we open with a word of prayer and say a pledge to the flag. Mike, if you would you open with a word of prayer, please?
Lord, thank you for another beautiful day that you've given us. And Lord, we appreciate this opportunity that you've given us to come around this table as elected officials and handle business of the county. And Lord, as we go through things today, Lord, we just want to say a prayer for those who have lost loved ones and for those that are hurting and for those that have any kind of medical needs. And Lord, we just ask that you be with them and bring them back to health if it be your will. And be with those families that are hurting and grieving. And give them comfort and wisdom and help them to lean on you in their time of need. Lord, we continue to pray for the hurricane victims and all of the areas affected by the hurricane and all the multiple different states, and just be with them, give them guidance and comfort, be with all the officials and help them to put the pieces back together as quickly as possible. And Lord, we pray for our country, and tomorrow's a big day, and we just pray that your will be done, and in all things we just ask two things, that this country become again a country under God. And we ask that the second thing is that this country and its citizens find peace with each other, and we unite together as one. Lord, be with this group today, and may that every decision that we make be pleasing and acceptable in your sight. And continue to bless this community and everything that we do, and bless its citizens. And Lord, we just thank you so much for all the blessings that you bestow upon our community daily. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. If you would, join me in salute to our flag.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you all. Madam Clerk, if you would, call the roll, please.
Esquire Stewart.
Here.
Esquire Ferris.
Here.
Esquire Eldridge.
Here.
Judge Travis.
Here.
Esquire Travis.
Here.
Esquire Cotton.
Here.
All present.
All right, we're all here. Thank you for that. I do want to welcome, before we even approve the minutes, I want to welcome Michael Ray from CAECO. He is the Safety and Loss Control Manager, and right here. And welcome to our meeting today. And I know you told me you didn't want to say anything, but we welcome you today. If you do need to say something, we try to be heard.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate
All right.
hospitality.
Yeah, you're very welcome. Thank you for that. First on the agenda is approval of the minutes. I know in your packet, the last part of the 10/21 meeting was not here. I guess that's where you took them, Cheryl. We don't have them in this packet. We can approve them next time, I guess. In fact, I'll just wait on those minutes till we get that, and then we approve them all together. Does that suit everybody on the 10/21 meeting? All right, but we do have the special call meeting of 10/25. That's in your packet. I didn't write down what page it was.
Is yours says 10/21 on it?
The special call meeting. The next one. Page Page 30. This was a meeting where we talked about the animal shelter.
You weren't here, Mike.
Yeah,
I
that-
wasn't here.
yeah. Yeah, page 30, basically, we excused you two guys, and then we had bid for the kennel work, and then we discussed the doing the work in the back, but where we landed was only to approve up to $5,000 to do the plumbing work, and then we adjourned the meeting. So I didn't see any corrections myself that needed to be applied to October 25th special call meeting minutes.
I make a motion to approve the October 25th meeting minutes.
Second.
All right, we have a motion by Jim, second by Zach, to approve the October 25th special call meeting minutes with no corrections.
I understand.
Any discussion? All right, we'll take a hand vote, Madam Clerk. All those in favor of approving the minutes, raise your right hand. 4. And then, any opposed?
I'm for neither.
Okay. Any not voting? All right, we have 2 not voting. All right, motion passes, 4 votes. All right, thank you all. Next, we have communications from citizens. Would anyone in the crowd like to address the court today? Yes, sir. Yeah, if you would, please come up to the mic and state your name.
My name's David Wilder. I live on Holstrasser Road, which they have just widened, and we've got the biggest mess out there that you've ever seen, and I'm here to try to get it straightened out. You know, I've been up to your office all summer long, asking you before they pave this road, let's fix it, let's do something before they pave the road. Well, nothing got done. Now they paved the road, and now that I've got 300 feet, well, 299 if you want to get exact. I got 299 feet of water running down the road, running 20 feet in my driveway and washing my property away. So, what are we gonna do? I don't understand how an engineer could possibly let all that go on out there. Some's got curbs, some don't have curbs, some's got book-to-twos, some's got sewers, you know, some don't. How do you get so inconsistent? Why don't you make them come back out there and put curbs all the way down, put a drainage pipe all the way to the creek down there by the end of the road, and make them fix it right? I don't understand how things like that get out of hand. Where's the engineer? Who's watching over that? You know, and like I say, I cannot allow 299 feet of water to run down my driveway and over on my property. And Jim was out there, he done seen where, as of this summer, that it has washed my property away, my cornfield away. So we need to get somebody out there, put some curbs and drainage in and fix it. That's about all I got to say. And I'd like to, if I could, I'd like to speak on the behalf of my next door neighbor, Dan Bridwell. That property between me and him is, let's say, 200 feet or something like that. And we both cut the grass 10 feet wide, all the way between us. We keep that grass cut. We can't cut the grass anymore because they took all that asphalt up and put it alongside the road and just kind of smoothed it out. Didn't put any dirt, didn't put any sod, didn't put any straw, nothing on it, and we can't cut asphalt. You know, if we put our mowers up there, it'll be hitting asphalt. And that Dan wanted to come with me today, but he couldn't. So we need to get somebody out there, and I'll act as an engineer if you need me and tell you what to do. But we need to get that road fixed. I mean, we need, they promised they'd be grading, they grade. On my property, they've never filled in, they've never throwed any grass seed down, they've never done nothing to my property. So,
All right, well, we thank you.
so what are we gonna do? Well, how do we get started?
Yeah, I know we have discussed this all this year, and I've had the county engineers look at it, and we will look at it again. Look at it some
Can
more.
I be there? Can I be there when we look at it?
Yes,
You've got my phone number on that piece of paper.
yeah, I got you.
Okay. All right, thanks for hearing, me. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
I hope I wasn't too ill.
Anyone else that'd like to address the court today? In the audience? All right, we'll close that section. I passed over the judge executive, introduced Mr. Ray. A few things I did want to bring up is that we are working over at Silo, as my conversation with Todd. We've done the repair works on the Yoder Tipton, got those blocks in by the bridge where the water had washed that away. And we're aiming to get the blacktopping done this week. Now, they are calling for rain, but the roads, the final roads that we need to do, hopefully we'll get them done this week. The ones out of Cochran, Mike, in your area. And then, of course, Schultz up there, some repair on Love Lane and Max Rouse. We're gonna aim to do in front of the recycling center, our part of the road, and then do some work, Robert, there in front of the ambulance bay there, do some repairs there. What roads, other roads I forget? Trying to think. Oh, LG Davis and Finley Hill. Up this way, up here.
When are we supposed to do that? I wasn't listening.
This week,
Thank you.
this week. You know, they always say they gotta get done blacktopping before deer season, and I guess deer season is this Saturday. So we'll get there.
I got something there. Like
Yeah, go ahead, Mike.
So I was talking to just the foreman down there at the bridge on Plum Creek. They got the floor poured, and then they got done with that. They're doing asphalt right now, the approaches to each side. Their plan is to pour the concrete sidewalls tomorrow. And then the only thing that will be left is to put up a little bit of guard railing on each side, but they're hoping to be done and hopefully back open by the end of next week.
Okay.
So that's big news for people in my area.
Yeah, yeah. Real big news.
I never thought I'd miss a bridge so much.
10 miles out of your trip to about anywhere.
It takes 14 miles for me to get to Waterford Park, and I live a mile and a half away.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, anyone else have anything they'd like to bring up? Any other matters? Go ahead, Jim.
Didn't worry, maybe they'll answer. For the election, I had a lady who's supposed to be here today. Out top, like the school board members were on the ballot, for some reason. She called in and asked about it and said they had to go to Camp Branch District 4 to vote for those school board members. Do you know?
Lynn said she would be happy to meet with you all about that in her office. Because I can't help you with that, I'm sorry.
Okay,
All
thank
right,
you.
well, thank you. All right. All right, seeing nothing else, I think that's everything. On page 32 in your books, this first item on the agenda, post-election audit details. We have a request here from the clerk to purchase an iPad and a tripod. And also it'd be like a $50 a month expenditure. So she had $50 monthly data charge. And I believe this is for, they're going to have, there's some communication in the next couple pages about different things they got going on. They've got a post-election audit on Thursday, November the 7th, I think. And then she wanted to stream it live, which we could stream it live inside this room with the equipment that we currently have. And then I guess next year, there's not an election, I don't think, at all. So it's a matter of what the court wants to do, and
Am I reading this correctly, you don't assume, so I'm gonna ask that she's requesting an iPod, or iPad and a tripod, or the alternative is to use the live streaming equipment in this room. Is that correct? Would the live streaming equipment in this room meet her needs for what she's wanting to do? My concern is that, you know, with elections, they're not like every year, and iPods, they go out, or iPads, they go out of date. It could be another reoccurring expense that we might not want to bite off, plus the storage, you know, and all that stuff, so.
I agree.
Laura, do you know that this is just for this reason, or you don't know?
It is for that reason, so that's all of that.
All right.
And I guess you could save a copy in there too, as far as the recording.
Yeah,
I think
Andrew,
it's for part of that.
yeah, he's on the board of
Now, I
elections.
thought
so maybe you can
I
help.
thought the audit would be paid for the elections. I thought there was like $5,000 there that could be used for any kind of expenses for that.
Well,
I thought.
There is a little money that comes in, but the elections cost way more. Doug may have some.
Well, I thought it was just this post audit. I thought there was some monies there for, maybe I'm wrong on that, but I'll check.
Well, it says here she's asking for $1,500, is that?
I'm not aware of
Yeah,
that.
that's this request. Do you have any numbers, Doug?
Well, we normally get about $3,500 per election, so much per precinct. That's all we get. So, I mean, I'm not gonna say that there's not maybe some grants through Board of Elections or something like that. If they've been, God, I haven't heard anything on it if we're getting any funds.
But it is correct, the main thing, it has to be recorded. You know, if that's
Yeah.
recorded.
And if an iPad's necessary, I have an iPad that they can use. So if we need to get one after the fact for more elections, then we can do that. But to cover this one, I have one that they can use, where they can use this equipment.
I think if this is equipment is sufficient, that's what we got.
All right, well,
Not being the presenter, but just so you all have the information, I was copied on an email this morning. It does appear that there's up to $5,000 reimbursed from the state per audit for this, but again, I'm limited in what information that I have, but just wanted to make you all aware of that.
I thought that was right. I don't have it from me either, but I thought it was $5,000.
of course, I don't think we'll need the iPad this time. Even the request is for future elections. So, I mean, I guess if we can.
Again, I don't have the information on it, that's the information that I have, so I wanted to make you all aware.
If that 5,000, if and when it comes around, I mean, we can buy, I guess we can buy an iPad any day. So this is for future elections, so. If I don't see any action, we'll pass this item. Or someone wants to lay it on the table.
The $50 monthly data, does that have to be stored for
You got to store the recording.
some,
Well,
our recording?
Cellular data
How long
plan.
are our recordings stored for?
It's for the cellular data plan.
It ain't even for storage.
It's just the data plan, okay.
Yeah.
So if you've already got an iPad with data plan on it.
So, I mean, this is something we can look at any time, and since the request is for future elections. If I don't hear any action, we'll pass. No action is taken. All right, no action taken on that item. Pass. Next, zoning, Julie?
Maybe we can move a little faster than we did last time. I've got 4 second readings for you guys this morning. I have Granville, Orange, Sherry, Patrick requesting Ag 1 agricultural, Ag 2 agricultural on 6.74 acres located at 393 Brick Ridge Road. Commissioner Osborne made a motion to recommend to rezone the application of Granville and Sherry Patrick for a zone change from Ag 1 agricultural to Ag 2 agricultural on 6.74 acres located at 393 Brick Ridge Road. The recommended land use map in the comprehensive plan recommends low density residential use, which would be in compliance with the comprehensive plan. This would bring the property into compliance with today's guidelines, and there was no one there to speak against it. Commissioner Deven seconded that motion. After a roll call vote, motion carried.
Motion to approve based on the facts and findings of Planning and Zoning Commission.
Second.
All right, we have a motion by Zach, seconded by Mike, to approve the zoning recommendations based on facts and findings of planning and zoning for the Patrick property. This is the second and final reading. Any other discussion or questions? All right, hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion passes.
Okay. We have an application of Betty Schaus requesting Ag 1 agricultural to Ag 2 agricultural on 5.0127 acres in the 4,000 block of Lily Pike. Commissioner Wheatley made a motion to recommend to rezone the application of Betty Schaus, requesting zone change from Ag 1 agricultural to Ag 2 agricultural on 5.0127 acres, known as Tract 1A of the John and Betty Schaus division in the 4,000 block of Lily Pike. The recommended land use map in the comprehensive plan recommends medium density residential use. The change would be in compliance with the comprehensive plan, and there was no one there to speak against it. Also, the deed will continue, or will contain the driveway maintenance on this. Commissioner Osborne seconded that motion. After a roll call vote, the motion carried.
Motion to approve based on the facts and findings of the Planning and Zoning Commission.
Second.
All right, we have a motion by Zach, seconded by Mike, to approve the zoning recommendation from planning and zoning based on facts and findings for the Betty Schaus request. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion passes.
Okay. Next, we have an application of Motherland G LLC requesting B1 commercial with binding elements to B2 commercial with modified binding elements on 1.25 acres at 26 Commerce Drive, also known as Lot 1E, 1A of Commerce Center. Commissioner Hunt made a motion to recommend to rezone the application of Motherland G LLC, requesting zone change from B1 commercial with binding elements to B2 commercial with modified binding elements as follows. To modify number 1 regarding the lighting to allow the applicant to have a backlit sign measuring approximately 110.4 square feet, which also modifies number 10 to allow a variance on the actual size of the sign because it does go over the 100 square foot maximum. The 110.4 square feet does include the columns in which the sign will be attached. The sign will not have to be set back to the building location and can be in front of the building, and no one was there to speak against it. The property is 1.25 acres located at 26 Commerce Drive, aka Lot 1E, 1A of Commerce Center. The recommended land use map in the comprehensive plan recommended mixed use area, and the change would be in compliance with the comprehensive plan. Commissioner Deven seconded that motion. After a roll call vote, motion carried.
Make a motion to approve the zone change as recommended based on the findings and recommendation of the Planning and Zoning Commission.
Second.
All right, we have a motion by Jim, seconded by Zach, to approve the application of Motherland G LLC to do changes based on the facts and findings of planning and zoning. Any other discussion, questions?
I just have one, so there was a sign there initially that was taken down because the residents complained about the lighting.
I don't know why it was taken down, but they did complain.
The original sign came down because it was put up and it was too big. It was bigger than planning and zoning regulations allowed, and we ended up with them in court over that one.
Okay.
And so with that one, they had to take the sign down.
So, but this process will allow the business owner to do what they would like to do.
Right, new business owner, new
Right.
company and everything, so yes.
So the land's sold, it's sold to a new owner.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
All right,
Okay.
any other questions? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion passes. All right.
Next, we have the application of Ronald and Deborah Cundiff requesting Ag 1 agricultural to R1 residential on 1 acre in the 600 block Bacons Road. Commissioner Hunt made the motion to recommend to rezone the application of Ronald and Deborah Cundiff, requesting zone change from Ag 1 agricultural to R1 residential on 1.00 acres located in the 600 block of Akins Road. The recommended land use within the comprehensive plan recommends medium density residential use. The change would be in compliance with the comprehensive plan, and there is no one there to speak against it. Commissioner Deaton seconded that motion. After roll call vote, motion carried.
Motion to approve the recommendation of the Planning and Zoning Commissioner based on the facts and findings presented.
Second.
All right, we have a motion by Mike, seconded by Dan, to approve the zoning change recommendation for planning and zoning for the conduct request. Anyone have any questions? Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion passes. Thank you, Julie.
That's all I've got.
That's all? No first readings this time?
Nope.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, good deal, thanks. Next on the agenda, the America's 250 Committee request. You can see in your packet on page 64, we do have funds. We have a line item in our budget that we put in last year and we have in this year that has $5,000 that local groups, volunteers, folks that upkeep the cemeteries, just basically anyone can bring a need to us, a request, and we have one here today. And basically there is Michael Reeser is a Revolutionary War veteran, Thomas Long, War of 1812, Nathan Kane, War of 1812. Basically, in 2026, America is turning 250 years old, so there's a committee in place that is working on getting information together, so forth. So this was a new one to me. I have seen some of these, I guess, bronze. There's one on a cemetery up Old Springs over here in the edge of Nelson, Spencer County, going toward the Bloomfield. Someone was in the War of 1812, and there was like a bronze marker stuck in the ground. And so this is a request for getting 3 of these. I like the idea. I'm afraid that people come around and steal this stuff. I don't know a better way to attach it, if there's a better way to attach it. Now, some folks don't even have markers, but I think these 3 do have markers. They're headstones. But I'm sure they will probably find cemeteries. It'll really take some digging, but actually finding where someone is supposedly buried. Because a lot of people in 1812 were just buried out on the farm out back under a cherry tree. I remember Curtis Oaks with glass, y'all know Curtis Oaks was surveyed in the county. He said there's a big old cherry tree that there could be people buried under. So as a surveyor, every time I see a big cherry tree, I'm thinking, there's somebody buried there. But nonetheless, this is a request we have for $326 on these 3. And I would just like to hear you guys' opinions on.
Motion to approve $326.62 for these bronze medallions.
Second.
All right, we have a motion by Will, seconded by Zach, to approve $326.62, which would come out of that line item, Doug, to buy these 3 medallions. Any discussion? All right, sounds good. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion passes. So we'll get that information to them, and this, we have made a big stride in our community recognizing our veterans. This administration, where we're putting them on the wall out here free of charge this time. And the city is helping us upkeep by keeping water in there. And our maintenance crew is keeping it cleaned out and going. But we can't honor our veterans too much. And so this is another way. We hope that the residents will appreciate and understand what these folks did for us. And if they see one falling over, they'll straighten it up. Let's hope. All right. Thank you all. Next on the agenda is animal shelter. There are several figures here. I hope you all have read through all of those. We made a payment a few months ago, and there were some change orders in it. Well, the amount, I think it was 90,000 something that we did pay, and it had like, $90,025.70, which we paid. And there were change orders that if you see the documentation here in your packet, and it's quite lengthy, but the change orders was not applied to, according to the guy we paid, it was applied to the draw. So it's not that we're paying it twice, it's just that it was applied, and we need to make that payment, and then we have another change order. I guess the best place to look is down here, towards the bottom on your page.
Are you on 65?
On page 65, yeah.
I have just a quick question.
So, yeah, go ahead.
After the last meeting, if you look third way down, y'all approved the $51,970 for the external kennel. When we first bid all that out, WPC bid on the outside kennel stuff. They were the only ones that bid on it, if you remember. And I'm almost 100% certain, wasn't that number like 36,000 then?
Well, I'm not certain, but I think it was less than 50, but when they bid it, we actually rebid it. Because they had bid that when we took initial bids.
Yeah, I was just saying, so from 8 months, it went up 20,000.
No, I think, we added some things to it. Number one, the size of the fence itself, an inch and a quarter versus an inch and a half chain link, which is a little more expensive, so I had to go with that. And then the outside kennel walls, originally quoted them as chain link fence, but we mimicked the inside and put concrete block walls on the outside also, which is rather costly, so.
That's all I had.
But you can see here the $2,100 for the water hookup and $3,500 for the sewer hookup, which is $5,600 we'll be paying the city. But I think, Dan, they were gonna make us a donation.
Yeah, they got a meeting Tuesday, next Tuesday, so I'll be there to see what because all that occurred after the fact, after they went into executive session, apparently they came out and did something, but I wasn't there, so we'll find out for sure.
Yeah, but basically, we'll need to, let's see, I know we voted at the special call meeting to go up to 5,000 on that outdoor plumbing.
I wasn't there for that either, but I guess I had enough for y'all out of questions because I didn't go to the meeting. But is that $5,000 just the groundwork for the plumbing?
No, that was for the drain pipe itself, I believe, installed by the plumber. But
Yeah.
we had in that back section another, it was including that drain pipe,
Yeah.
and that included the pipe and the ladies.
It's basically on page 67. Now they did have to go through, they had to get it re-engineered because it was a change. They had to go through Frankfurt, get the re-engineering done, and then get it inspected. So they got done, but it did cost more than 5,000 there, as you can see. Yeah, we can vote on the difference. I mean, basically, we've got a bill here that we need to pay. So I'll entertain a motion to pay the bills that are owed as of today for the animal shelter.
And what exactly are those bills?
It'll be 140-some thousand. I know it's in your bills page.
This is also,
It's 149,170.27. That's what it is.
so this is actually like a draw.
A draw.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The working's already completed.
Well, it's a draw plus it gets
Right.
the change orders
Yeah.
called up current.
The majority of it is the regular draw.
Well, the last paperwork we had, the draw looked like the change orders were in it. And we approved 2 of the 3 change orders.
Well, but and it was the 90,000. I'm with you, but he took it as change orders wasn't in it, and that applied to the draw. So we're not gonna pay him twice,
I understand that.
so,
Well, it says right there, at the 9/16 meeting, we approved the change order number 1 for an additional $20,767.75, so we have not yet paid that.
So it was a $90,000 draw, which his invoice didn't look like that, plus the change orders.
Yes.
yeah.
See, I thought the change orders were in the total of the 90 is what it looked like, but I don't have that picture for that.
Well, I can assure you we're not gonna pay for something twice. And if we did mess up, then he'd have to make a correction. So I think it'd be safer to say that that won't happen.
Okay, I'll make a motion to approve the draw and the, change orders for that and shelter.
All right.
Well,
Okay, we got a motion by Jim, seconded by Dan to approve the, making the payment to, for the draw and the change orders. All right, now open for discussion.
I just want to be clear. The bottom of 66, the $149,170.27 is the $5,692.50 figured in that number. It says attached change order, and so this figure is added into the request payment.
Let's see.
Because y'all approved up to
Yeah.
5,000, and that's 56, that's in the 149.
Yeah, order, in the middle of page 65, it says change order request 3 for additional 5692, see attached. If approved, brings the contracted total, well, up to that 560. And then, of course, then we add the kennel and the city, and then that comes with that 618. There's actually, I saw that looking at the bills.
So this one,
I didn't flag it.
this 149 we're getting ready to pay is another draw with the change orders, and we've already paid the 90,000 for the draw,
Correct.
so we've paid the 90,000. We paid $239,195 as of today, is what we're getting ready to pay,
All right.
and we've only got a roof. I wanna point that out.
Well, it's got walls in it.
If you look on page 98, that exact figure is, when we approve our invoices, that exact figure is stated in there. $149,170.27. So,
Well, I just wanna voice my opinion of how much displeasure I've got in this contract. This point, we're almost a year into this project, he's almost halfway through the estimated build, and we don't even have we're now getting to drive in.
yeah,
And we haven't had any framing inspections, all we've had is rough and plumbing inspections for the groundwork and a footer inspection. And I mean, that's just, in my opinion.
I'm still
You need
planning
to
to
get more
be in on
complete
New
for
Year's
draw.
Day.
That's what you're trying to say.
Yeah, I mean,
You're drawing faster than it's building.
I believe so, yes.
Well, I'm still planning to be in on New Year's Day, and I try to be optimistic, so. And his permit, I think expires in February, because he has a 1-year permit. I'm not planning to get a renewal on the permit. And today, I will, I guess as I say, light fire.
A big one.
All right. I will pass the message along. Any other discussion on voting on the animal shelter, these expenses? All right. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion passes. All right. Let's see. That was on page 65, 66.
No, the bid on the,
Yeah, I was gonna wait on that one for a bit. Yeah, page 71, is that our next? Yeah. The final ARPA resolution, and you guys know the last, how long months it's been, nearly 24 months, so 22, 23 months, or 21 months. You've always wondered about how the ARPA money's being tallied up. And anyway, to close this out, what we did to close it out, because we knew building the animal shelter would take a prolonged amount of time, plus building our pavilion would take a prolonged amount of time. So since we were under the $10 million threshold, we could use the ARPA funds for other expenses. So on page 71 and 72, it lists what we spent the $3,758,705 on, and 2.808677 and change is basically the amount of money that we use to pay other expenses besides buying 2 ambulances. The previous court donated $75,000 to the fire department. They donated $30,368.91 to the Mount Eden Fire Department.
Hey, on the same page, is that a typo, road department says John Deere compact track loader?
It is.
We bought a
That
loader.
should be the Kubota track, yeah.
Yeah.
The John Deere is inaccurate. We'll correct that. But, you know, you see the items here that we purchased. I'll go ahead and read them into the record. $94,000 and change on Washburn Lane, an asphalt roller, $19,450. 3 F550s at the road department, $158,877. That skid steer loader, $56,200. Tailgate spreaders, $12,778. And then we bought other hydraulic beds, systems for these new trucks at $68,718. And we spent $30,076 for the sheriff's department, which they matched it with their drug seizure money to get a couple new trucks. But basically, we've got 2.7 in CDs that are earning interest. So all the money's there still. So we've got that 2.7 that we paid these expenses out of, but now we still have, so we can build our animal shelter and do our pavilion and so forth. So that's why we have this resolution. Everyone agrees to pass this resolution so we can get our ARPA funds closed out.
Motion to approve this resolution.
I have a quick question.
Yeah,
On the
go ahead.
second whereas clause, it says we'll draw down the second and final tranche of upcoming FYE 2023.
Strike it.
Just strike that.
Which line?
Second.
Second one?
Or, yeah.
Yeah, the second whereas clause, second line, and we'll draw down the second and final tranche of the upcoming FYE 2023.
Okay. All right, well, I'm gonna read this, since it's a resolution, I'll read it into the record with that change. Whereas Spencer County Fiscal Court was allotted $3,758,705 of ARPA funding from the U.S. Treasury, and whereas Spencer County, as the date of this resolution, has drawn down, basically, so we're striking that whole thing, because we've drawn it all. The date of this resolution, we've drawn it all. So,
Draw down the entirety of the,
yeah. Yeah, or needs to be, whereas Spencer County has drawn the entirety of the $3,758,705. All right, drawn down the entirety, so we got that. All right, whereas the U.S. Treasury has recently issued a final ruling with details and guidance on the options and proper use of this funding. Whereas 31 CR 35.6D, the final rule promulgated under the American Rescue Plan 2021 permits receipts of foreign buyers, state and local fiscal recovery funds, and one-time election of a standard allowance of revenue loss such that the amount of the reduction in the recipient's general revenue due to the public health emergency over the period of performance will be deemed to be up to $10 million. Now therefore be it resolved, Spencer County Fiscal Court hereby elects to make a one-time election, standard allowance of revenue loss, in the amount of the reduction in the county's general revenue due to the public health emergency over the period of performance will be deemed to be up to $10 million. County executive or his or her designees are hereby authorized to directed to make such election in any reports filed with the treasury. Additionally, the county shall be entitled, but not required, to use this entire allocation to form of virus state local fiscal recovery funds in the amount of $3,758,705 for the provisions of government services. Furthermore, the Springs County Fiscal Court adopts the following chart as expenditures detailed in the allocation breakdown as of November 4, 2024. So all these figures will be part of our report. Any other questions? Thank you all for catching those, catching that second paragraph.
I'd like to rescind the motion I made the second, I'll make a new one. If that's okay with the seconder.
Yes.
Okay. Yes.
I'd like to move that we adopt this resolution with the changes that were made here.
All right. Second. All right, we have a motion by Mike, seconded by Zach, to adopt the ARPA fiscal court resolution that was read here with the changes that were mentioned. Any discussion? All right, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion passes. So thank you all. We'll get that sent in, and hopefully that maybe will be one of the, if not one of the last reports for that. And I still thank Jim, the previous court. Y'all made a good move getting Kip to help us do that. And because we always got somebody to report to. They help us along. All right. Let's see, page 73. Well, let me back up. We don't have it in your book, but approval to pay the poll workers upon verification from the county clerk. I know we have already set the amount we're going to pay them. I believe we do need to make a motion to pay the poll workers the set rate after the election is over. I entertain a motion.
Motion to approve the rate that we set for the poll workers.
Yeah, to be paid.
Be paid
After the election.
Yes.
All right, we have a motion by Jim, seconded by Will, to approve the poll workers, the previously approved rate after the election's over. Any questions, concerns? All right, hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion passes. They will appreciate that. And thank them for their service. They helped us out. Yeah, y'all seen on Facebook, I don't know what the turnout is as of today, but it's been big.
I think we're over 30%.
Over 30?
A couple days ago on Facebook, it's
30%.
So tomorrow will be a big day, being that there's still 60%, that'd be 100% vote. We could easily have 70% turnout. All right, page 73, we had a few questions about this last time, but I know we discussed it in the office. There was, we were wondering about the roads that were in there. And of course, when this was originally made in 2007, on these roads up in Heritage Hills, it had language about when a road gets partially done, you know, basically it's still being constructed. But, so today, every road up in Heritage Hills has met the obligations. Todd and QK4 has went and looked at it. They're ready to be taken into the road system, so this will be a second reading to take Heritage Way, Rock Fence Court, and Clay Lean Way into our road system and release all the bonds. You don't have any questions?
I'll make a motion that we take Heritage Way, Rock Fence Court, Kaleen Way onto the county road systems and release the bonds.
Second.
All right, we have a motion by Dan, second by Zach, to take Heritage Way, Rock Fence Court, and Clay Lean Way, take them into the road system and have the bonds released. Any discussion? All right, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion passes. Now, I want to thank the developers for working with us and getting this done. And the people out there, I'm sure, are happy to get that done. All right, on page 76, the Extension Council, they've got a couple of members that have turned out Wanda Lawson and Marcia Mudd, and so they must rotate off. There are two names mentioned, Morgan Mayer and Courtney Jeffers, to take in their spots when these others rotate off at the end of this year. So we'll entertain a motion to recommend the appointment of Morgan Mayer and Courtney Jeffries to the two terms that will be expiring with Wanda Lawson and Marcia Mudd.
So moved.
Second.
All right, we have a motion by Zach, second by Mike, to recommend the appointment of Morgan Mayer and Courtney Jeffries to fill in where Wanda Lawson and Marcia Mudd are rotating off on the Extension Council. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion passes. We've got that. Next, we've got recycling trailers, and Karen Spencer and I had some discussion about this a week or two ago, and it's $600 for them to deliver them. And I remember us, when we ordered these things, when we voted to order these things back whenever, we've already got a check. Well, the check that we got paid the $600 to get them here. I was gonna send Daniel and Brian Spencer after them instead of paying $600. But since $600 came in with the grant, we don't, we're not gonna have to pay anything now, it's part of the grant.
Need a motion to
Approve this, yeah, motion to approve paying for the, paying this Metal Works company for these two recycling trailers.
Second.
All right, motion made by myself, seconded by Zach, to pay Metal Works this bill for the two recycling trailers, $35,791.50. And again, we've already got that money. So, have a motion and a second on the floor. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion passes. All right. We've got Baseball Association. Had a call, Brittany and I had a call with Ms. Raina Allen. They are interested in pursuing a land and water conservation grant, and it's up to a $250,000 grant, I believe. They want to do work in, I know this says Regional 2.0, but it's actually in the existing Regional. Biggest thing they want to do is put lights on the biggest field. We've got that area, which we know we've got to get under the two bridges to connect our two parks. So, well, here's the biggest selling point is that the Baseball Association is willing to put up to $130,000 of their own money into this. So we would be the avenue of how to pursue this grant, and they would be doing the match, and the rest would come, through the grant. So to me, it's kind of a win-win. But
Quick question.
yes,
I'm all for it. But I think as of right now, we don't have a current signed lease agreement with the Baseball Association, is that correct? And we should probably wait to get that signed before we okay this, to make sure that they're partnered with us contractually before we enter into another agreement in which we're going to be changing money and funds and things for improvement of the park. I'm all for this, but I think we should get it in a different order.
yeah, I'm not opposed to that. Because we can, we'll have more conversation with them, and we'll try to get all that lined out and have, I know we just did the soccer agreement.
Right.
We'll try to have a baseball agreement by the next meeting.
That's fine.
At latest, first in December.
But I think as soon as we get that paperwork signed, then I'd be willing to move forward with this.
All right.
Didn't when we first come into office, we got an agreement with them?
Well, I know we voted to pursue several grants when we first came into office. But I mean, that was a year ago.
Well, no, I was talking about a lease agreement with them.
Well,
I thought we did something with her when we first took office.
I don't think, the only agreement that I think we had, Brittany, you might help, the only agreement we have is with the soccer.
Correct.
Well, I think we talked verbally, but I don't think anything's ever put on paper and signed.
Well, we've got an agreement that unless someone cancels it, renews for that dollar deal.
Right.
And I know we discussed not doing that anymore, to do them differently, and we've started with the soccer group.
Well, I think in order,
Yeah, so, I mean, we have an agreement, I'm just.
but I think in all fairness, I think based off what we just did with the soccer association, I think we need to relook at that, and if it comes to, we need to cancel the current agreement, sign a new lease agreement that includes new terms, that's agreed on by both parties. I think we need to do that because we want to be fair to the soccer association as well, to make sure that that all associations are in similar lease agreements.
Yeah, that makes good sense to me. Everybody agree that we'll pursue that direction?
Does anybody know when this grant application is supposed to be in by?
Well, I know we spoke about it this morning. You, if you ever got one going, you can't get another one until it's closed out, I believe. And we don't, I mean, the lighting package of maybe your court, Jim, or even the one before it, got paid, is done right now, so.
And I think if your office can get a similar, to the soccer association, lease agreement signed with them before the next meeting, there's no reason why we couldn't vote on that lease agreement, and vote on this in the same meeting.
All right, well, we'll, I agree with you. If we, go ahead.
Question, we had two different grants for lighting in the fields, and I thought they were all laid out. Do we still have one field that's not lit?
Yes, so my understanding, they're moving a field, and they want to put lights on this big field.
Removing the field?
Because,
Yeah, go, I'm sorry.
because we're connecting the two parks. And so the road that we're connecting the two parks is going to move in on a field that's already there, so now they have to move that field.
It has lights on it.
No, the little bitty field over by the bridge that the little kids play, there's still a big grassy area between it and the other bigger field. They'd like to make a big field. And then, of course, if they move that, we need to go out there and look, because I can't remember even how many fields we got. Let's go out there and look.
1, 2, 3, 4.
So, but it'll be, what they're wanting to do is,
Shows you a picture on the page.
they're wanting to expand the existing radio.
Yeah, there's a page on.
Right before the pills.
Yeah.
They got a page.
That one right before, yeah.
Page number 89 and 90.
Yeah, you can see the little field down there in the corner. So, basically it'd be, making a new field. Rather than the page right before that. I'll do it both of them. Well, we'll get more information. Raina couldn't come in this morning, so, we'll get some more information. If we can't get a lease done by next meeting, then we'll get it at first in December.
I mean, because I was talking like 250 to 275,000, 50/50, and they're willing to put in 130,000, you know, the cost to us would be minimal, if not none. I think it'd be a good investment and a good way to move forward with all parties involved. Just want to get the paperwork in the right order.
Yeah, and I'm very happy where us as a group, how we're moving forward. Like the soccer group, you know, they wanted a long-term lease, but we didn't do a long-term lease, but they still agreed to pay, what, $5-6 grand on signage and stuff.
So I think we're moving forward, working with these associations and each side making concessions and happily moving forward with agreements with each other, and hopefully we can keep that going to get more long-term agreements and moving forward to help further make our sports better, you know, at our parks.
And, you know, and I think that they appreciate the moves that we have made, like especially at Waterford. You know, we've invested a lot of money there at Waterford. We got probably 70, 80 in that,
A lot this year.
expanding that parking lot, and then
The water line.
getting the water line fixed, and then getting the roof on the concession area, so where birds doesn't mess on people. But they see that we're putting emphasis into it and that we value the work they do. So, you know, they're meeting us with assistance. So I think that's a good deal. All right.
Jim,
Yes.
before I mentioned bringing something earlier, but forgot about it. what slips my mind. I'm gonna try to put a list together of surplus equipment, so all the department heads can get that out there. But the biggest thing I want to bring to you all real quick, is the backhoe at the county road department. It's operational right now. We've had a hard time, JCB, we've had a hard time finding parts when it does go down. It's up and running like surplus it. I need to replace it. We don't use it enough to buy a new machine, but I think we use it for I'm gonna try to get some of that put together for the next meeting. You know, just want to get kind of get your own lesson on that. Before the labels. Consider yourself blessed.
Is the city still considering selling some backhoes?
They talked about it, they've been talking about it for,
5 years.
yeah, 5, 6 years. I'm not too
They've
worried
been
about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, they got a used one over there, they bought a new one 4 or 5 years ago, and they got the one they were using was that one there. They talked about surplus and they don't.
Do we use a backhoe enough to justify having?
We do in certain events. I don't think we justify buying a new one.
Right. Well, I know we got that many, you know, I didn't know.
Yeah. Well, there is certain times when they'll send out 2 crews, like they'll send the backhoe out, just like they'll put in a district, clean culverts out for a day, and figure out, do that kind of stuff.
So allows them to divide and conquer.
Yeah, I don't think it's something that justifies spending $200,000, $300,000, $400,000 for a new one, but, you know, we can spend $30,000, $40,000 on a decent use to get rid of this thing, headache,
The main thing is you can't find parts for one.
yes, when you do, go there, outright. I know the valve control body on it, we've had to pretty much piece it together. And had to put my dog guys up there, piece it together, but you can't find the control body. The thing's made and ready. It's time to go.
It's time for it to go.
All right, well, let's, we'll get a list together of surplus, and we'll need to vote on it. I know that we usually take it up to the auction here locally,
That's the other reason is Yule's auction's coming up, I think.
December something.
It's December 14th, I think. That's right.
Wayne Cox is the 14th.
All right, well, then that's what I'm thinking of. But anyway, Jules is coming up, end of the year sale, I'm sure we use that stuff too, so I'd like to have a list put together of surplus stuff by the next meeting for us to approve.
Because we got to advertise.
We gotta get it up there, let them see it and all
We
that.
got to put it in the newspaper.
Yeah.
All right, well, that'll work. And if you guys talk to anyone, you know, any of our departments and have surplus equipment that you see or consider, we'll try to bring it back next meeting. And then we'll vote to surplus some things. All right, good deal. We'll go ahead, since we're at, I'll have all the agenda done other than that bid and then executive session. We have the bills. Next on the agenda is the invoices, bills, and transfers.
Yeah, I had a quick question. On that page 91, it shows the city of Taylorsville stuff.
Yes.
So did we pay that? And they're gonna,
Now,
it's on there?
if you see a box with a check in it,
Hey,
yeah, the box without a check hadn't been cut. So,
so does that really need to be on there? Probably does, it's not to pay that.
well, we won't pay it twice.
I don't want to pay it once.
Okay.
Until after next Tuesday.
I was with you, well, should they be on there until we know for sure whether they're gonna help us out? or
No,
not?
well, no, I know for a fact, they cannot give us that for free. I think they told Dan that,
The water part of
The water and sewer, the monthly
it. Yeah, the
bill.
water and the sewer, they can't give us because of the bonding.
I'm talking about the hookup.
But the hookups, they could.
well, but my understanding from the mayor was they was gonna make a donation. Of course, like you said, they were gonna make a donation, and guys, we need to, and I know we don't need to pay it twice, but we need to get this paid. You know, the Department of Education, I think, Brittany, we're still waiting on Frankfurt to tell the local Board of Education that you can let them hook up. And we're gonna have to make more calls today to push and pursue that. You know, we had to get the appraisal done, and, you know, they said it was worth this amount of money. And then,
Before we pay for a sewer hookup, in the water, I guess we are with the sewer hookup, we have to need to hold off on until we get approval, so we may not have a sewer hookup. Or maybe something to do.
oh, they'll hook us up, but the Department of Education in Frankfurt has to tell the local Board of
Yes, still
Education
can.
to let them hook up here, even though it's as far as for me to use. So,
So are you wanting to pay that in hopes that they'll just make a donation to us or not?
well,
Got cost?
they're not gonna give us that, so we got to pay it. They're not giving us that.
The hookups?
They said they're gonna make a donation back to us. And when they make that donation, we will gladly accept it. But until then, we gotta pay it. We gotta write them a check for this.
That's ridiculous. I think I'm just gonna stand and I'm not doing a bunch of stuff. Just saying, I mean, that don't mean nothing.
So, but I mean,
I just thought the decision was to either waive the fee or not to. I didn't know nothing about donation.
well,
They'll come up with that.
we're still waiting on them. And when we can't wait anymore.
Yeah, they're supposed to take it up at this next meeting, which is next Tuesday.
Well, at the same sense of it, I'm gonna say this again, we don't really have an urgency for either one of these right now, because we don't have our ability to hook it up to, we don't have nothing ready to hook up to, we don't need water right now, we don't need sewer right now, because we're not even that far along, so.
But we can't kick this down the road anymore, because
Why?
if next week we do need to hook up and we're still kicking it around.
Well, I can see paying the water because they'll set us a meter.
Yeah, and the sewer. I mean, the animal shelter has to be hooked up to the sewer, it has to be hooked up to water, this is the only way to hook it up. So we gotta pay this. It's as bad as we wish it was different. This must be paid.
I would just pay
I think
$100.
that's what I'm saying, is it has to be paid now before the work is even done, you know.
I mean, we gotta submit it with an application to give us a meter and a hookup.
That's generally how it goes. I would push for it being waived on my.
Well, Dan's been on it.
I know, but you wrote the check,
It's not gonna be waived.
yeah,
If you got the check, then they're on that one.
Yeah, I mean, that's my whole thing, is we're not at the point right now, I mean, yeah, we gotta go on and get some of this stuff done, but we don't need it right now, we're not gonna need it next week, I tell you right now, we're not gonna next week.
I can say it, I'm trading some.
We're not gonna need it, we're not gonna need it.
Hey, Brandon? But if
I
we,
think you need the water meter.
Courtney, tell me if it's,
Whether
I
it's going
don't
back.
think that they can give it to us because it's two government entities, but they can sell it to us for $1.
My understanding was that there was bonding issues they were looking into. I never heard of confirmation one way or the other, so that I don't know.
Pay it, maybe they'll donate it back.
Yeah. So they could make a donation to the animal shelter in that amount.
I'm not gonna speak as the city's budgetary things, because they operate by different ways, and the county does and so forth, so.
Motion to pay the bills, make the transfers.
Second.
all right, have a motion by Mike, seconded by Zach, to pay the invoices, bills, and transfers. Any other discussion? All right, let's hear none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion passes. Raina, thank you for joining us. If you would, come up to the mic, and let me tell you where we are. We have passed this on the agenda, but our plan is to get a lease agreement done with the Baseball Association and approve it and approve this at the same time. Can we, in the next 2 weeks, this week, get some language together that's acceptable to you guys, and then we'll do it all that at once?
Sure.
See an issue with that?
Hopefully at our next meeting.
Other question too, did you know if there was an expiration date for this grant, or when it had to be submitted by, or no?
I called Dustin on Friday to discuss it, but they don't work on Friday, so he just emailed me back today while I was here. Raina has sent me a lease that they've looked over, and the county attorney is working to make it look just like the soccer league's lease, so that they're uniform and they're fair.
I just know from the last ones, because we've had 2 other grants that were like that I know it's a lengthy process. It seems like, I think from their first field, which technically field 2 was the one we started with, to the other field, which was field 1, it was like 2.5 years, but it Jim, right at it before we ended up kind of just
totally evolving because it takes a while to get the grant, it takes a while to get all the bids out, and it takes a while that if you decide to do soil samples and all that stuff to happen, you know, I just know it was a while. And the only thing that would change on our end is we're trying to accommodate you guys, especially Scott, because Scott had asked us that field 4 is in your all's way to make that little tunnel under the roadway and to get the walking track and whatever. So that could be a huge chunk. We already know to move that field because it seems like fencing is ridiculous right now and everything else material-wise. And then try to make sure we accommodate you guys for your expansion / 2.0. So if it ends up being 50, 60,000, and clearly we're going to be short funds more because of how much it is just to move that field. But obviously, if it takes the lengthy process like the last one had, then, you know, we'll start rebuilding a little bit of money back from just the time it takes. But it's just expensive. Like, we're trying to fix all the fences down there minus field 4, and we've got an estimate of $7,000 just to fix all the holes in the fences and all the gates that don't want to latch and all the, I mean, they've all been down there almost 20 years and they've all decided, hey, a whole bunch of them are like, I'm done. I've reached my max life of working functionally, you know. And nothing's cheap at all, it seems like, especially like we got Heckard Fencing saying, hey, what stinks for you is you're using chain link fence and it's extremely expensive and you don't have any choice to use chain link fence. Now, we don't even know if we could even use any of that fencing by moving field 4 because it's the shortest fence down there and it's taken a lot of beating because it's the shortest fence down there. And
Well, it catches the water first. Too.
Oh, yeah, and it's literally, if you look at the backstop down there, I know Brian and the guys have worked on it multiple times, it will not stay attached to the bigger poles, and it's in rough shape. So I don't even foresee us getting to use any of that fencing from that field when we go to move it, you know.
Now your scope of work on this grant includes exactly what? Is it putting a new field or putting lights on the field that's already there?
It's putting, so you know the big field down there is number 3. It's the one that's like 300 and something in the middle. It's the big field. Well, they like to call it the softball field because it's all skin and it's the biggest, basically the biggest dirt infield down there. But technically it was set up for 15U, 13 to 15U baseball. But it's put lights on that field because we could actually do more age groups and do softball on it because it's skin. And you can go up to 15U. When they started, you know, again, we know why they did what they did when they started pouring the pillars and got the poles and stuff. Those 2 smaller fields were the ones that those would have worked for the most. And now that I've had an education on lights, basically, those poles that have to go on field 3, they're taller. Obviously, the foundation's gonna have to be bigger because they're gonna have taller poles because it's a bigger field, gonna have a bigger age group, gonna have to have taller lighting and whatever. So it's more expensive naturally because we started with the foundations and the poles on the other 2 lights, on all the 2 fields.
So the foundations that are there and the wiring, the conduit, I guess, is underground.
It was when field
I mean,
1.
it's still there.
It's still there, but none of when it was pre-wired, set up for, I guess, for them to run all the stuff that they ran for the field 1 and 2, that was all set up only on field 1 and field 2. So there was nothing over on field 3. So you literally are starting basically from the ground up with it. And that's why, because when I looked at it, I told them, I was like, well, I get it, it's bigger, and I get it, it's taller fences, or taller poles and all that, why is it so expensive? And they're like, believe it or not, all the digging that's gonna have to be for the foundation, and all the pole height length, and then a big chunk is moving that, which we talked about, Scott, moving the service from the pole that's down there closer to field 3, so everything would be on that pole that actually turns the lights on for field 3. So they included, like, I think, if you look in there roughly, and it's kind of hard because the language is weird on this, but like 50,000 of that estimate was to move that underground, that service, all the way underground to field 3. And they were gonna charge a chunk for that. But if we can get it moved by Salt River, then that saves a big chunk. Because they can't, I don't know what the deal is, but I know it's something to do with amperage or whatever, I'm not an electrician. But they can't do that service that the other 2 fields are on now.
Well, what we'll do, let's do this, so we can move on, but I'll get with you, and I'll try to get hold of David Stevens and get RECC's engineer, and we'll all go down there, and we'll all say this is what we need, and we'll see where they can help us, and get the engineer to say, you know, and then get a cost together. But we'll do that maybe this week. I mean, you good this week?
Yeah, the only thing that changes me is, you know, I'm late today, my mom, I care for my 87-year-old mom who took a tumble last night, so, you know.
Well, maybe this afternoon or in the morning, let's get together, and I'll try to get them set up where we can go look at it, and that way we'll have things together for our next meeting, and we'll be ready to move in.
Perfect.
All right.
Perfect,
Thanks,
appreciate it,
Randy.
thank you.
All right. I did get the rest of the ending part of the minutes that, from the October 21st meeting. When Cheryl was here, and we passed them around. I had a couple of changes, so next on the agenda, we'll move back to approve the minutes that we passed on originally. If you look on page 3, I have one change up there under D number 2. It says about this letter here that said it was signed by the mayor, it was sent by the mayor. I never did get a signature, I never saw a signature on one that was signed. So that word signed needs to be changed to sent. And then on page 4, under number 5, it talks about the treasurer tried to explain who should plan to attend. The treasurer explained, so I was going to strike out the words tried to, and then add a ED to the word explained, so it would say the treasurer explained who should plan to attend. I don't think I had any other changes.
Yeah.
No, page 19, my bad. On page 19, kind of down in the center there, if you all see where it says the Squire Cotton over on the far right, the judge and the treasurer did not know for sure. That should just be a period, whatever we didn't know about. But then it says, the Squire Cotton remarked he sued to get 4 hours. That all needs to be struck. So, bless you. So, anyway, those are the 3 changes I have, and then we have the balance of where Cheryl brought these for the after executive session. So we have them all here now. That'll be the minutes of the 10/21/24.
Motion to approve the minutes with the correct changes.
All right. We have a motion by Will, seconded by Zach, to approve the minutes of 10/21/24 with the changes that were mentioned and including the after executive session portion. Any discussion? All right, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion passes. Now, I've got this bid, and then after this, we're gonna go on executive session to discuss personnel.
This is for the interior of the admin shop.
Right. I haven't opened it up till right now, but we did put on limb imaging, and I think, Brittany, this is the only one we received. This is the work that was presented to us, you guys, for redoing that in the back. The original bid was $75,000, put in heat and air, insulated, build a wall, and we thought that should be a good bit cheaper than that. So what we did was, we voted to pay to do the plumbing done, so they could pour the concrete, but the rest of it is we're going to bid it out again. So this is a new bid for $65,500, and that is for the frame, 16-foot 2x4 wall up to the truss, furnish a metal entry door, install R19 in the walls, R30 in the roof. Let's see, furnish and install 2x4 on the inside, that to make a new metal wall, and put a wall on the ceiling and the trim, updating and insulating the overhead door, and now it's not broken down. Install 16 receptacles, install conduit, wire water heaters, and the mini split, power supply for a garage door opener, and then 3 Bryant indoor high wall, high efficiency, 23,000 BTU dryer vent to the outside. My thought on this is, okay, we can open the animal shelter.
That's from Doug White too.
Yes, this was from WPC. We can open the animal shelter without this room done, because the other animal shelters are still in existence.
How much of that work can,
That's what I was about to
can
get
Dana
at.
go?
Well, I would hesitate doing that because the reason we're doing this back section is Victoria came over when we were in the process. And she said by state law that you had to have a quarantine area for cats and one for dogs away from the general population. Well, the general population is the concrete penalty guy. So we're going to build those quarantine units in the backside by state law. So I don't know if we can open or not legally without those.
We'll get it done for half the cost anyways.
Well, some thought has been put in. We can do all of that in-house other than heating and air.
It's piecemeal, and I don't think we can do that either, Tim.
We can use our guys.
We can use our own people to do the work, except for the heating and air. And the heating and
We
air.
can bid out the heating and air.
We can bid out the heating and air, and then the rest of
We
it,
can do whatever work we want.
my thought is I would use the parks guys and maintenance and recycling guys, and we can get it done in cold weather. Probably get it done in December. And if we didn't have it done when this opens, you could still keep the quarantined animals at the other shelter, which would be out of the population of this branch, of the other branch, just for a short time.
Well, it ain't gonna be done by then anyway, so
Yeah, you all need some faith.
I'm a realist.
Mustard seed. Give me a mustard seed.
You know, my opinion on the animal shelter is, you know, it's overdue anyway, time-wise. Then we're just extending that.
Yeah, let's go.
Let's just go ahead and.
Hell with the budget.
Done.
Let's pay whatever it costs.
Let's just get it done and be done with it. And we'll get it, and we won't have to have somebody come in and rigging this and rigging that and putting this up and that up. That's my opinion.
I know it's probably a big project for our people to undertake, but I know
I'll just bid it
You know, you
again.
gotta put insulation in, you gotta put, metal on the ceilings.
but I know that they got experience doing metal on the ceiling down at the park.
It looks good, does it look good?
You know, my thing is 65 grand is a lot for me to swallow.
I think we could bid that out.
I mean, okay, let's discuss this. Do we want all electric heat, or do we want propane heat?
I think we should have dual fuel prices, but those are,
Because I think propane is a lot cheaper on BTU than electric, isn't it?
easy to keep on.
I think that was good. So, in the long run.
Yeah, it's good to heat on
I'd like to know
efficiency.
if you presented that to
So I mean, you need to leave that, if you want propane backup, you know, when it drops below 30 degrees, the propane kicks in, that's the only way to make that cheaper.
I'd like to
Maybe
know-
all gas would be that high.
if you
Yeah, that's,
presented that to
put a
me, I'd
hybrid
roll
system in, instead of so if it drops below freezing, that you get propane instead of,
That's how my house.
that's what mine is too, and it's a hell of a lot cheaper than it used to be.
I'd like to know if you presented that to Dana Cole, what his thoughts would be on a timeline for that.
I've talked to him about it. He,
I guarantee you, he says no problem.
he's the one telling me propane would be cheaper. I mean, I'm all for the propane backup.
No, I'm talking about like to do all that work.
They can,
But
they
what
can,
the
they
next
can do it,
timeline
I
be
mean,
on
he's a licensed electrician,
No, what would his timeline be?
as soon as we tell him to work.
Oh, I mean, like, how long does he think him to complete?
Well, I mean, just, we could come up with timelines on that, you know. They can get a lot done in 30 days, they could get a lot of stuff done in 30 days,
That's gonna be done.
in a week. If we had 5 or 6 guys,
It's not long.
5 or 6 guys, all that work could be done in a couple, 3 weeks. And that's a week hunting down all the, getting the wiring and stuff in.
I don't care if our guys do it or not, but we shouldn't hire them to do it.
Well, I'll entertain a motion to accept or reject this bid.
Motion to reject the bid.
I have a motion by Will, seconded by Zach, to reject the bid we presented on the work. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed? Opposed. All right, motion. Motion to reject passes. We'll keep working on it. All right, and my plan will be, and we're not gonna let this sit around till forever, but I'll get things lined up and,
Just give it
with
to
Daniel.
Daniel, just give it to Daniel, let Daniel get it figured out, and propose everything to us. That's the best way to handle that.
all right. We meet in a couple of weeks. All right, so we've got that done, and now entertain a motion to go into executive.
One more thing.
Go ahead, Neil, I'm sorry.
Bring up the nemesis, Washburn Lane.
I told you, Joe, I won't hear about for at least 3 years.
We're almost there.
You know, at Washburn Lane and Post Office, there's one curve right there by the substation, you know, there was no stop sign for that. And the original engineering was have a 3-way stop, okay? And, I've had several calls from people saying, when's this gonna happen? Eric Bain, QK4, we met out there and looked at it, I'll read this email to you, what he says, and he says that earthen berm that's located on the north side of the intersection contributes 0 sight distance from either east or west on Washburn Lane, or Host Road. Basically what he's saying is, due to the negative impacts, this intersection at all 3 approaches, talking about that hill, I feel the best course of action, the safest route to move forward is to create a 3-way stop sign at this intersection. That's our county engineer's recommendation, so.
That's crazy. Why would you not just put a stop sign at Washburn Lane? Ostrachers,
Because the sight distance on Post Roster,
when you go around that sharp curve,
with that big high berm by the substation, you can't see, he's saying, these are state regulations, he's holding us.
Or just talking about 3 stop signs.
Well, developers pay for this, it's not on the county.
So we need to move.
Well, yeah, Eric said, well, let me know what you want to do, you know, I'll get with the developer and make sure it's done.
the first stop sign's gonna be on top of the hill before you drop down by the substation.
They're all 3 of you right there.
At the bottom, where Washburn Lane comes into the sharp curve. So you're gonna have a stop sign on Ostrachers, a stop sign, and then a stop sign on Washburn?
You'll have a stop sign in Washburn, you'll have 2 stop signs on Post Roster, one coming this way, one coming this way. So everybody's got to stop before they go around that curve.
Of course, we have the ability to vote to put them in, we have the ability to vote to take them out, right?
Do whatever we want.
You're gonna only put the 2 stop signs.
But we don't have to pay for the initial installation, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So I make a motion that we follow the recommendation of QK4 engineering firm and install the stop signs as in the recommendation.
Second.
And the developers also.
All right, got a motion by Mike, seconded by Dan, follow the recommendation of QK4 on putting stop signs at Washburn Lane and Hallstrasser.
And I'm always saying
Any
that.
discussion?
Do you know where that's at?
Yeah,
You
but,
been through there recently?
well, I don't go through there all the time, but I'm just saying, I think it'd be smart for us to do that, from a liability standpoint. Just because, now if the landscape changes, or
It's been like that for
topography or
200
something,
years.
yeah, but
Engineer.
But now you got it on paper, somebody saying that it's not safe and something needs to change, and you got it on paper that this is
He
a
said on
change
there
that needs
it's
to be
not safe.
made, so I think,
I didn't hear you read that part.
he said it wasn't enough sight distance.
Due to the negative impacts of intersections at all three approaches, I feel the best course of action and safest route to move forward is to create a three-way stop sign at this intersection.
Stop sign.
I've seen that maybe later on, you may peel the curbs, or peel the topography back to where you can increase sight distance, rest that and other, and stop signs to be removed at that point, based off the current set of circumstances, and from a liability standpoint, now that it's on paper, that it's, we need to make a move to make sure that it's as safe as it can be. I think we need to do that.
Yeah, he says, after multiple site visits to the intersection, I believe it's the best to place a three-way stop at this intersection. My findings and final recommendations are based on a lack of sight distance from all three approaches at the intersection.
And in
All right.
case there's 100 roads in our county, that did that same thing.
We'll do them one at a time.
I reckon so.
All right, we got a motion and a second on the floor. Any other discussion on this? All right, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed?
Read.
All right, one, passes 5-1. No votes voted. All right, now, thank you. Anything else before we go into executive session? I'll make a motion, we go into executive session as per KRS 61-810, number F, or letter F. Discussions of hearings that might lead to the appointment, discipline, or dismissal of employees.
Second.
Have a motion by myself, second by Mike, this is neither favorable nor amendable. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed?
We going to
Motion
back
passes.
there?
We can go back there.
They're gonna go. You can stay.
Thanks, sir.
I thought she was going.
They come back to your point, it's gonna hold it.
Had the email one of the times she had and different things, so I heard it was run, but.
And again, this is still broadcast on the other side of the walk. This is still broadcast.
Knowing that many people went to vote early. They said I was gonna vote early, so every time when one died, they were lined up outside the thing, and I hated. And I hadn't heard anybody else in there, I got to hold out some email from me, I know everybody were the court voted last time, we told everybody 4 hours holiday on election day. Seems like y'all gonna be working, you're just gonna be paid an extra 4 hours. That's the way, I know everybody understands it, but I don't know if she ever understood it. I mean, it's kinda like EMS, the road guys are here, or they got something they have to do, they do, they don't do it.
So we need that in here, right? Specialist. Okay.
Yeah, because we're going to say Steve Clary.
Yeah. Steve went up here earlier.
And he was with them last as well.
So you got Steve, you got your Irish coach. And then that former Asian guy, he's not with Asia now, but he's with us. He's workplace safety.
Appreciate you coming down.
Hey, yes,
Join
sir.
us, I don't know, we had Lonnie a couple weeks ago, and then, of course, Rob comes down there occasionally, but,
And that camera's still going. Just,
yeah. So it's, thing, so glad to see you here.
Yeah, we appreciate being, given the hospitality to drop in. And
How many years you been with Keiko?
Oh, Lord, I'm an old guy over there. I've been there since the late nineties, so.
I was gonna
And I
say,
was rolling.
I had to go back and look at the book, it's like, I know he's been there a long time, but I couldn't tell you what his title is when
Well, I've
Karen or Katie says them that you were coming.
right now, I'm with the safety and loss control end of things. I used to be the claims guy for several years, and before that, I was kind of the work comp pricing guy, so I can't keep a job.
Keep adding more on, this, maybe that's a better way of looking at it instead
Bouncing
of,
around, yeah.
Doug's been here, what, 35, 36 years?
well, it'll be 35 in 3 months,
So
I
I
guess.
was looking at your treasurer.
Yeah.
Well, you and I probably talked about work comp payroll audits and payroll estimation forms back in the early days.
Yeah, it's not real bad, but then everything changes over a period of time.
Oh, yeah, that's
And
right.
some things that you think would be so simple to do, Mom passed away, getting an EIN number. It's like, well, you can go online and get it in about 2 seconds. I still haven't got it yet, and that's been 2 or 3 weeks ago. Yeah, every time I go on there, it's like, we gotta have to call in. And then I call in, they tell me to fill out an application, we fax it in.
Right.
So I don't know, it's, you know, I'm still old school. I like to carry cash and that type of thing, and then I know some people don't even carry any cash, they use a debit card everywhere they go, and not that there's anything wrong either way, but it's kinda
Well, you
like,
get used to doing one thing and then end up.
it's kinda like when the computer goes down, we can't wait on you.
Life goes on, even without computers, right? Gotta figure it out and move on.
But then I look at that, it's like, well, how do you wait on somebody then? You take the information, if you're taking it by mail, same way, and then, yeah, you're going to have to work on it again later, but you enter it in, but, I don't know, what's the changes gonna be like in another 20, 25 years?
Who knows, that's a good question.
I'll have a robot that will do that for me.
Yeah, very well
I
made.
won't be here probably. We're turned 65, so if I am, I won't probably know anything, it's put it that way, but we laugh at that. Of course, I joke with her little one, well, her oldest, even now, because I know when you're 8 or 9, you think your mom and dad's 100 years old anyway.
Yeah,
And then considering how old I was, one day I told her, I said, I'm 10 years older than your grandpa.
yeah.
She looked at me and said, that ain't possible.
That's strange,
A million.
how we perceive age of folks when we're younger versus when we get older. That's,
My oldest is 9, and today we were working on some homework that we didn't finish over the weekend, and she said, I'm not gonna say your age out loud, but you should know how to do a fourth grader's work. It's like, well, apparently I'm not smarter than a fourth grader, so you're gonna have to ask your dad.
Well, the thing is, the way you were taught to do it may not be the way they were teaching it now. I mean, with some of the way they changed math and,
Like, I know the answer, I just don't know how to help you get to the answer the way that they want
right,
you to get to the
can't
answer.
show our work the way
Yes.
they want it to.
and so, you know, some of these things, I better not get into that soapboxes like with amendments too, or whatever,
Yeah, probably not now.
with it being on camera, but, you know, it's, maybe changes need to be made on how they're doing things instead of looking at taking the money and sending it more places, because then they'll just want more money. So,
100.
Almost 1:30, we're getting there. The lunch hour.
yeah, things have been kind of calmer today than some days, but it's
No, they have not.
I'm talking about for as a meeting,
I don't know,
but,
should have been a long meeting.
well, that over there, she leave?
She had
Yeah. You know what to think, when,
Yeah, I know. Question is, what do I want for lunch? fresh take is really good. For that sandwiches.
No, what's it called?
Fresh take market.
First thing. So we're gonna start. Yeah, good.
Peppers, onions, eggplant.
So we can't go wrong with the ribeye.
It's a ribeye sandwich. It's good.
Works too.
What's Linda's got today?
Huh?
What does Linda's have today?
I want to say chili and vegetable soup, I know, but, country fried steak and, I think,
The
she
Chico's
has
has,
plate lunches or whatever. Of course, it's, about like 10 stools and 2 small tables. Not like a Dizzy Whiz size place.
and the teacup across the street, they've got baked potatoes the size of your head that are really good as well. But they're cashew.
You're hungry about the tail stuff.
Oh, we got some good places to eat, even though you sometimes think, oh, it's the same old thing every day. I hated eating school lunches when I was in school. Now, for what it costs and everything else, when you were there, it's like, still don't feel right to go out there to eat school with them, eat lunch with them, when, even though they would probably welcome you to come in and see what's going on and eat with them, but,
I think when I was in school, of course, I graduated in '92. I think, I don't even remember it being much over $1, if even $1 to eat lunch, I don't think. I don't,
My daughter now can spend up to $9 a day.
let's figure
I don't know why it does that, but
$9.
She can, so it's what, $3.50 for lunch. Sometimes she goes back and gets additional entrees. I can't decide if like the portions are smaller or if she just really likes the lunches this year.
Well, if it's $3.50 now for lunch, or 92, maybe not right, maybe it was $1. I just can't remember, but.
I was on free and reduced lunch when I was a kid, so it's either free or at least like 10 cents.
Yeah. Quite a deal, whatever the case, right? And you ate a square of pizza, or did they do that up here?
Well, they do run a really big salads and stuff now, like my daughter will come home and tell me she had a big Cobb salad for lunch.
Salad bar sounds like almost.
we had superintendents and all here that would make preserves and jellies or whatever out of it, basically whatever was left out of the fruit and different things like that, you know. And couldn't beat the rolls that they made in the lunchroom, it seemed like.
Yeah,
They were
remember
good.
rolls, yeah, those were good.
And you always,
I'm gonna run to the restroom.
the worst problem is you want to go through them.
I know. I'll be all right.
Yeah, it's, you kind of wonder sometimes about going, you know, what's in the hamburger or whatever, but I still wonder that sometimes when I go to McDonald's or Wendy's or whatever else, especially over the years, some of the stuff that come off on what's in anybody's food, but
Seems like I eat it no matter what it is without too much trouble, so.
I kind of look at it as just rumors for the most part getting started, because if not, the health department wouldn't be letting them probably be open. Of course, I don't know what all the health departments inspect too. I always think it's funny when you see some signs that 99% or 90% stuff when they inspect, and sometimes it looks like they're there maybe 2 minutes or something if you've been by and one comes in, but how they come up with their percentages, but I don't know. Now Lonnie Campbell, he started at DOG about the same time when I started.
Oh, really? Okay, yeah, Lonnie, first name.
And I've always thought the world of Lonnie, because he was one of those guys that if he told you something, that's the way it was. There was others that was there that had positions, but they didn't know anything. That's the way I looked at it. They were political appointees, the way I look at it, and got a job, but, so.
Well, yeah, so we can, what I do is I work with folks that can do like the driver's training, like you're talking about Steve Clary, We got the guy that used to work for OSHA, that's the workplace safety guy, his name's Steve Morrison.
Yes, I've heard of Steve.
Okay, and then Dwayne Littens, our other loss control specialist, he's a former building inspector, he's got a knowledge of construction, and premises liability is kind of his area of expertise, so slip, trip, and fall hazards, and, you know, facilities issues.
I feel like the majority of our claims probably come through EMS or our road department. You know, we have power loaders now, which has cut down on the number of back injuries, which is really great.
Yeah, that's great, and that brings to mind a grant program. I don't know if you all know, we have a grant program through KCO. It's a $10,000 max payout. It's a loss control product, and so think about the lines of insurance coverage that you have through KCO. All lines found in the workers' comp program.
I don't think we applied for anything this time, even though our EMS director was saying that he's on top of it, and then he retired. So I don't think we ever actually applied for anything. But Chris was on the safety committee, and he was there. That's one reason when I got the grant, I forwarded it to some of them on the safety committee, because I looked at it for something we could use it for, we needed to apply. And, so I don't know that they ever applied for anything. That's why I hated to bring up about the grant they were talking about. What was the timeline on when it needed to be in by, because go into the next meeting and then it's due at the end of November, and it's gonna be able to get done.
I'll talk to Dustin.
But yeah, as far as our grant goes, if you guys, that was something we can help play into reducing insurance losses in those programs.
Do you have some examples of what other counties do?
Well, we don't, here's the best way to think about that. This isn't a guarantee program where I can say, if you apply for this, or this, you're going to be approved. That's not really the way this thing works. What I can tell you is, look at the areas of priority attention that we put on the website along with the application each year, and your best shot at getting an approval is to look at things that fall within those areas of priority attention. Now, this most recent grant period, the priority areas were things that played into reducing auto accidents, things that played into reducing lifting injuries, law enforcement liability connected to jail and sheriff and county police.
We've got the Keiko Lift Assist kids.
Okay, like a vendor lift through the ambulance department, or?
Something that they wear.
And cybersecurity, that's another big deal. Cyber is not something that we've got a necessarily history with, but
Is there a list
something
out
we're
there
trying to get
anywhere on what
people
was
in front
approved?
of.
At the end of this September was the deadline, I think, end of
Well,
September on this grant.
For the KCO product, we ran August 15th through September 16th, I believe, this most recent period. We're gonna try to do this every year, so long as we're in a position to be able to.
Well, what I was getting at though, is there a list put out on what was awarded through that grant program? That may give ideas, something to apply on.
You did ask that question. We don't have a list that we provide, but I can give you some ideas on that. Sorry.
The website.
You want to check, make sure it's still on with that?
We're good.
All right, entertain a motion to return to open session.
So moved.
And no decisions were made. Second.
I already have a motion by Zach, second by Mike, to return into open session from executive session and no decisions were made. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion passes. All right. Do y'all have any further action?
I'd like to make a motion that we appoint Mr. Clinton Smith as the new director of EMS and emergency management. Second. Effective with me. Second, sorry.
All right. We have a motion by Mike and seconded by Will to appoint Robert Klingel-Smith, the new EMS director, effective immediately. Is there any other discussion?
And emergency management.
And emergency management director?
Do we want to put a salary in there?
Yeah, we need to amend the motion to do that. So I'll move to amend the motion and add the words to the original motion of a salary of $72,000.
Second.
All right, have a motion by myself, seconded by Mike, to amend the motion and add the words, salary of $72,000. Any other discussion? All
We
right,
need to put in there the total salary of 72,000, since it is coming from two different sources.
well, I guess that's what I meant, that to be the total salary, since part of it would be ours and part of it would be, I guess, federal. All right, we have an amendment on the floor. Is there any other discussion? We now vote on the amendment, which added the language for the salary. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion passes. We now have the motion as amended, which says that we would hire Robert Klingel-Smith, EMS director, effective immediately, and his salary would be $72,000. Any discussion on this motion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion passes. Congratulations, Robert. You're now our EMS director. We look forward to working with you. And kind of like Andrew coming to our meetings, I would like you or a designee to always come to our meetings so you can be there to answer questions. And as we progress forward, we're great and we always want to be better as we all strive daily. But we're excited for you. We're excited for Spencer County EMS. Anything you'd like to say or?
No, I just want to appreciate everybody. I know it's been a long process. I know my staff is happy now that it's over. But
That's good.
so we have a lot of things we can do. We're going to move forward.
Yeah, thank you all.
Motion adjourned.
All right, have a motion by Mike, second by Will, this is neither debatable nor amendable. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion passes. James, I want to thank you for helping my brother.
And
He's all right today.
I had absolutely no idea who it was until I was a Baptist and I was writing names down.